Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel today. I wanted to talk about how the Farway tree actually functions. I don't think it's random chance, but before we get into that, if you like the theories that I've been discussing so far on the channel, why don't you leave a like and subscribe to stay alerted when I upload again. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. So we know that the Farway trees are still kind of a mystery to the viewers and especially to the characters in From, but from what we have seen, it looks like the tree is random in how it teleports people. We see it happen a few times throughout each season, but I think it's actually not random, and there are ways it can be used to technically choose where they want to go, but I feel like it's more of a subconscious thing, at least for right now. But I wanted to talk about quickly how the whole forest has magical properties, I think, and not just the faraway trees. So in season 1, we know Boyd tries to go out in the forest to find more resources for the town, and he's out for a little too long and nightfall hits, so he hides in the cave where he finds the talismans, and the monsters don't attack him when they show up. Another example could be the dog that has helped Boyd twice in the show, and then the dog disappears. We don't really see him after that, and we know that the dog has helped Victor before as well, because there have been some drawings that we see in this show that depicts that dog as well. But there's also the time when Boyd and Sarah were in the forest, and they come across the place with all of the spider webs, and we can see Abby was entangled in all of the spider webs and screaming for help. And I'm breaking up these examples to segue into this book that was written in 1939, and it was written by Enid Blyton. It's called The Faraway Tree, and it's a series of short stories, and the first one talks about how a group of kids, Joe, Beth, and Franny, recently moved to a town where there's a large forest near them, but they find out by the residents that the town is called the Enchanted Wood, and it's like a magical forest. And eventually the kids go down to the forest, and they actually do discover a group of elves, and reveals to them that the forest actually is magical and enchanted. But the elves tell them that a gnome has stole the items from them, some papers, and they all choose to go and chase after the gnome. And the gnome eventually travels up a tree, and while they climb the tree, they learn that this tree inhabits a bunch of beings and creatures, and the tree is about as tall as the clouds in the sky. And once they reach the top, the gnome goes through a portal or some sorts, and it says that it's a portal to some magical land that has a bunch of things that you would not normally see in the normal world from where they come from. So they eventually learn that this portal changes every time that they reach the top of this tree, and some of the lands that they go to are very unpleasant as well. But I think a lot of what we've heard and what I've read from this book is very similar to how not just the Faraway tree, but how almost like what's going on and from the city and the town aspect of it as well. And I also wanted to talk about how, what if the lighthouse operates in the same way that the top of the tree does, where when they see the lighthouse, that is like an entry to a new town, kind of like how when Tabitha flies out of the lighthouse, she gets teleported to Maine, I do believe is where it was. And I'm thinking, since she arrived back in the town, like the next episode, that wasn't the real world, she was still in the town. But let me know what y'all think about all of that. But before we go any further, I wanted to talk about the main reason of this video. I think the trees have rules just like the rest of the town, and I don't think that the trees choose randomly to where they place people once they enter. I think the trees teleport you to where you mostly want to go, like the thing that you, at the time when entering the tree, where you mostly want to go is the best way to explain that. Except for Dale, he was trying to escape out of the town, so I think that is why he was just killed and stuck inside of the pool, because I like to think of the town as a big game that they are inside of, and if he tried to do that, it will technically be like trying to cheat the game by just escaping through the Farway tree when they're supposed to be used in another manner. But when Tabitha enters the tree trying to save the Ankui kids, she gets teleported to the lighthouse, and that's when she is able to at least leave this from town, and which I think at least, and she enters another one, but she's able to find more information about Victor's dad, which eventually leads her to finding the truth about her past and the cycles that she has already lived. And also, when Victor is trying to explain the trees to Ethan, he tosses a ball in the portal, and the ball just falls like 10 feet away from them. So it's like you have to know exactly what you want, and just then you try to go through the tree, and that's when it gives it to you. But even if it's like in a way that you don't see it at first, like for example, when Boyd teleports through the tree, the whole reason why they were there in the woods was to find answers and figure out like how they can, just escape or at least fight back. And Boyd gets teleported to Martin, and like that could be the tree or the forest trying to tell him that you need to see him, and Martin does eventually give him that infection, which leads to them able to kill one of the monsters. But there are many more examples of this, and in season 4, I think the Farway trees will probably be the key on how they're going to have to travel now, since the man in yellow, it seems like that he's able to just do whatever he wants, and he's going to be traveling in the daytime as well. But what do y'all think about all of these theories? Also, I'm hoping in season 4 that maybe the trees will lead them to a weapon to combat the man in yellow, maybe, or something to be able to hide from it better. I don't know, but I wanted to say thank you everybody for watching, and please stay tuned for the next video. We will be talking about a very interesting topic, so I'll see you on the next one, and have a good day everybody.